Hi there, this is your friend Anna, and the question that I've been getting the most from all of my friends is what are we wearing? This age old question isn't just about choosing an outfit, it's about choosing how we present ourselves to the world. I created the I Want Her Shoes podcast to dive deep into what it means to dress with intention, whether you're heading to a council meeting or just having a casual day out with your family. Join the conversation as we explore the power of personal style and the decisions that shape our public personas. Put on your favorite pair of shoes and step into my closet. Hello, and welcome back to the I Want Her Shoes podcast. And I'm your host, Anna Annison, and I'm very, very excited and proud to record today's episode, which is episode 71. And the name of this episode is I Don't Want This Version of Success Anymore. And this is really a reflection of the 60 women that I've talked to and really what I've learned. And also, I'm really excited and grateful to tell you that we reached number one officially on Apple Podcasts for beauty and fashion. And that's really exciting because that was one of the goals, is to get to number one. And we are number 23 on Apple Podcasts for all the podcasts, and one of the goals for this year was to get into the top 10. So thanks to you guys, we are on our way there, and I'm so grateful because I would not be able to do this without you listening, downloading this. We actually just passed 400,000 downloads, so I'm just really grateful because without listeners, this would not continue to grow. And I'm excited to continue to publish this, and I'm excited about the guests that we have coming up because the whole goal is to make this more and more inspiring and interesting for you, really. And maybe you could also write in, encourage you to write in to say what you're interested in, what kind of guests do you want to see on, because I'm actually thinking about starting to add men to the show too, because we do have about 30% of listeners are men. So, let me know if there's some interesting men that you want to have on the show, and I will see what I can do. And as I mentioned, today's episode is going to be a little bit different. Usually I'm sitting across from incredible women, founders, creatives, executives, mothers, stylists, healers, investors, athletes, listening to their stories and learning from their experience. But after more than 70 episodes, I started realizing something important. There are patterns to all the stories that are being told, and there are truths that keep on coming up and over again in these conversations that I've been having, regardless of the industry, age, success level, or background, or whatever, where someone lives. These conversations really have changed me too, and how I think about the future and growth. And I've been very inspired by the 60 women that I've talked to in the last almost 18 months. And today I wanted to sit down and reflect on some of the lessons, because there's a lot of lessons, a lot of emotional moments that have stayed with me throughout this journey. And this isn't like a best moments episode. It's more of a reflection of what women are really craving right now. Because there's patterns, we're all craving the same thing. Millennials, Gen Zs, this is really the core of our, listener base. And we're all facing kind of the same struggles as we hit our 40s, right? Some folks are hitting their 50s now, mid 40s, 50s, thinking about menopause, career change, divorce, moving, just a lot of different changes that are happening, or kids, or some, women are experiencing empty nesting where the kids are leaving, and that's really hard as well. So what we're all struggling, what we're healing from, and what we're becoming is all really beautiful to see how it's all kind of the same, right? For many of us. So the first thing that I learned was women are exhausted from performing perfection. And I really wanted to highlight this one because this one, is something that I've struggled with my whole life, really. And I've noticed across almost every conversation is that women are tired. Not lazy, but tired, soul tired. Tired from trying to hold everything together perfectly. Perfect career, perfect motherhood, perfect relationship, perfect body, perfect online image. And this is the one that's really, I feel like a really one that we talk a little bit about it, but yes, there's a lot of pressure to have a perfect online image. And behind the scenes, so many women are quietly overwhelmed. Some of the most powerful moments on this podcast happen when women stop trying to sound polished and just told the truth. And that is one of the patterns that came out. And the truth about burnout, the truth about loneliness, the truth about divorce, the truth about rebuilding, and the truth about identity shifts, the truth about success not feeling the way they thought it would. And I think that women are they're not craving perfection. We're really craving honesty. That's what we really want. And the second thing that really took away from these 60 conversations was that success is really changing shape. And it changes shape, meaning as you grow, and you go through your journey. And this one surprised me. When I started this podcast, I thought success was one thing that everyone was chasing. But after speaking with over 60 women, realized that many successful women are actually trying to simplify their lives, not complicate them. They want peace, freedom, health, softness, community, and most of all, time. Just time to themselves, time with their kids, time away from screens. And that's for me. I've been, I can deeply relate to this. I've been in tech for over 20 years now. I started very early in my career. I literally was on eBay when I was 17. I had a store. So this coming up in 25 years now. Startups, events, media, content strategy, conferences, communities, screens. I'm over it. I want to get off my screen. I want to spend more time with my kids. And that's what I've been really hearing from other women too, and for me, at 42, it's like you feel burned out from a version of the life you've been living or thinking that you wanted, right? And I've spent most of my life building everything, building companies, communities, brands, solving problems, scaling things, failing, many failures. Hey, and I'm not, the one not to share them. I've tried a lot of different things in the last decade that did not work out. And it's okay because that brings you closer to a win. And most people never even try. So if you failed, congratulations, you're further than most people that never even try. But now I'm asking myself different questions. What does life actually look like if I want to experience it more fully, right? I want to spend more time with my kids. I want to travel less for work and more for pleasure. I want to be more present. I want to create differently. I want to live more instead of consistently producing. And that's really what I feel like the culture here, at least in tech, and because everything is changing so quickly. And with AI, literally every day there's a new LLM that's doing something better, faster. There's an update every day about something, right? So you really are expected to always perform and produce a lot more and more every day, because if you don't, somebody else will do it better than you, right? So, but the reality hits, right? How do you actually reinvent yourself after decades of building one version of your life, especially as entrepreneurs? Because entrepreneurship is reinvention, literally. That is part of what entrepreneurship is. If you cannot reinvent yourself, you should not be an entrepreneur. Because most entrepreneurs, we pour everything into what we build. Our savings, our time, our nervous system, our whole identity is in it. I mean, my identity is in it, being an entrepreneur. But, hey, maybe I want to, go into different directions, right? But it's very hard because your identity is really in what you do, right? And to really shift that, it takes time, that takes focus. And people really romanticize entrepreneurship a lot online, but the reality is, even though it can be extremely rewarding, and it has been for me, it's emotionally exhausting sometimes too, and I see you. You know, I see everybody that's struggling. There's a lot of industries that have been affected by AI, but we could do this, ladies. We got this. We're strong, and I think that the more communities we build, the more we can help each other be successful during these uncertain times for many of us, especially the people in tech. And the third lesson that I learned was that the podcast conversation no one really talks about. And I've invested heavily into this podcast, and it's been amazing to see it grow. And I'm pretty certain that I'll get to my goal of being in the top 10 podcasts this year on Apple and Spotify. But Apple is the biggest platform, so that was really the goal. But I've invested time, energy, money, production, editing, events, community, and the crazy thing, we've been ranking top 1 globally for the last year now. And we just crossed 400,000 downloads, like I mentioned, which is amazing. And people always assume that means there must be huge revenue behind this, but there isn't. You know, it's really hard to monetize a podcast, right? So how do I have this conversation with myself as an entrepreneur where the podcast is growing and it's doing amazing and people love it, but it's still not monetizing, right? Like, so what do we do? How much time and resources do I invest? Because I love it, right? Like, it's really rewarding for me personally. It's amazing to elevate women and share these stories, right? Because I do love it, but at the same time, I need income, right? So especially, you know, it's a reality of things, right? How there's pressure to honestly give and create and support and inspire, but passion projects still require sustainability. How do we sustain them? We have to pay for them, right? How much does it really truly cost to build a podcast where you have good quality content? It's not cheap. You know what, like, especially even in-house, I have an agency. It's still not cheap, especially if I take my time to do this, right? And could I invest something meaningful for 18 months because I believe in it? Yes. Forever? Probably not. So, you know, this is something entrepreneurs need to talk honestly about, because there is obviously tension between purpose and survival, creativity and income, meaning and sustainability, impact and burnout, because so many people are navigating that quietly and nobody wants to talk about it. Like, yes, like, we're not monetizing it yet, right? Like, but we are going to, or we're not going to give up yet. But you got to give yourself a certain amount of time. But if it's not converting, then you got to cut your losses and move on to something else, right? That you could find as much love that you could find as much love in and can make money. Because just finding love and calling that like a business that doesn't make money, that's not a business, honey. That's just a passion project, okay? And we're not going to survive on that. So number 4 is style is never really about clothing. And this one is one of my favorites, because one thing this podcast has taught me is that style is almost never about actually these things here, right? It's more about identity. Style is identity. Style is confidence. Style is healing. Style is self-worth. And some women shrink after life changes, and others discover themselves through beauty, wellness rituals, fashion, fitness, or simply learning how to take care of themselves again. And, you know, I've had guests talk here about rebuilding confidence after motherhood, divorce, burnout, illness, heartbreak, reinvention. And what's beautiful is realizing that sometimes a glow up has very little to do with appearance and everything to do with what finally what really it means to finally come back to yourself, right? And that's been really beautiful to see. And number 5, women need community more than ever. And I've had a lot of guests here who are community builders, who are networking specialists. And what I've heard over and over again, women are lonely right now, even incredibly successful women. That's why we're always looking for new communities, new friends. And social media sometimes makes it worse, right? There's like FOMO stuff going on. And we're more connected than ever, but many people still feel deeply unseen, you know? And one of the most emotional things for me as a host has been watching women realize during conversations that they're not alone, that someone else understands their experience, that other women survived the thing they're currently going through, right? Like, everything passes and it's always going to be okay. And that's why community matters so much. And that's become one of the biggest purposes of the podcast for me, not just the content, even though I love making this content. This is really like passion for me, but connection also. Meeting 60 of these women and talking to them and really getting to know them deeply, that is really meaningful, and that's forever going to stay with me. You know, these relationships, that is not something you could buy, right? And number 6 is the last one there's so many more, but I wanted to take the most important lessons because I can't keep going on for an hour. I like to keep these 20 to 30 minutes just so you guys are not bored. Reinvention is messy. Oh my gosh. Even though that you think it's going to be like really pretty and okay, it's not. And it gets packaged online as this beautiful, glamorous thing, okay? I mean, I love Jay Shetty and Mel Robbins. I love all of y'all, but like, this isn't this glamorous and like easy to go through. It's confusing, it's emotional, it's financially stressful, it's uncertain. And you question yourself consistently. You wonder, am I making the right decision? Am I too late? This one is the one that we hear a lot. Am I too late? Should I keep on going? What if I fail publicly? What if I outgrow the version of myself everyone knows, right? Like, and that's kind of what's happening to me. Sometimes you outgrow the version of yourself that everybody knows and you drop about half of your friends because it's not the same anymore, because they just change and grow, and that's okay. And I don't fully have the answers to everything yet, and I'm still figuring it out. But after speaking with over 60 amazing, accomplished women, I've realized that so many of us are asking the same question right now. We want success, but not at the expense of our lives anymore, right? And that's been really what we've been taught, especially as millennials, that you have to hustle, like you have to hustle to the point of like no return, right? Like, and if you didn't hustle, then something wrong with you. But that's not the way to really be successful. We want meaning, we want freedom, connection, health, and we mostly want peace inside us, peace around us. And I would love to hear from you too. If you're going through a reinvention, burnout, a life transition, a new chapter, please reach out and DM me. Tell me what you're navigating, because I think we need more honest conversations about what this stage of life actually feels like, because it's a huge decade that's coming up for all of us, and we need to be together to navigate this. And to everyone who has listened, shared an episode, joined one of our events, sent a DM, given us a 5-star review, or trusted this community enough to be vulnerable in it, thank you so much. To every woman who has sat across from me and shared her story so openly, thank you so much for trusting me with it, ladies. And I actually have pictures of all of you right behind the camera, and I'm so proud to look at all of these ladies. I'm so inspired by every single one of you. And I truly believe these connections matter, because women don't just need inspiration anymore. We need truth. We need honesty. We need spaces where we can evolve openly. So whether you're right now, wherever you are right now, whether you're building, healing, growing, slowing down, or trying to figure out what comes next, you're not alone. We're here. The community is here with you, and there's many millions of women that are going through the same thing. So I encourage you to continue to put on those heels, ladies, and continue to feeling fabulous, even if you maybe don't feel the same inside. Just do it, because it'll reflect. If you actually make yourself feel a little bit prettier, it'll reflect on the outside and give you that little boost that you need. And in the meantime, continue to listen, share, and continue to be fabulous. And I'll see you at the next episode. Have a great week.